The narcissistic relationship cycle is a term used to describe the typical progression of a relationship with a narcissistic person. The cycle has three main parts and lasts from the beginning of a relationship to separation. If a couple comes together after separation, then a new cycle is started and the parts repeated. This video covers the three main parts: the hoover after the relationship ended and the new relationship cycle. Love bombing and idealization stage. The love bombing stage is the first stage and is where the narcissist will often go to great lengths to make you feel special, wanted, heard, valued, and loved. This is frequently the only time a narcissist will make you feel truly special. After this, it's all about them. In the love bombing stage, the narcissist may shower you with gifts, attention, affection, fake love, and compliments. They may seem charming, attentive, and supportive. The overt narcissist often showers you with gifts and take you all over the world or town and do stuff with you that you only dreamed of, while trying to make you believe they are the most important person in the world and that you are lucky to have him. The covert narcissist more often tries to come off as kind and supportive and may sit for hours and listen to your complaints or dreams, where they will often seem empathic as well as that they believe in and support your goals and dreams. They frequently try to make you feel special and needed. A narcissist may also try to make you believe that the narcissist is your soulmate, destiny, twin flame, spiritual task, or perfect partner. They may also play the victim themselves, which is normally the case with covert narcissists who play on your belief or need in helping others or your desire to rescue others. Love bombing is like putting a shiny bow on a box of red flags. It's all about the packaging. Thus, love bombing is a deliberate tactic with the intention of creating a strong emotional bond very quickly between the narcissist and the victim in order to manipulate the victim into a relationship. The hope is that the victim will act on their manipulated emotions and overlook red flags and obvious inconsistencies in the narcissist stories, as well as not use logic before entering into a relationship. The narcissist often tries to make the victim dependent on the narcissist, either financially or emotionally, but they may also put themselves in the role of advisor or main supporter of a victim to make the victim trust the narcissist. Or the narcissist makes themselves dependent on the victim and play on the victim's desire to help others and be seen as a good person. The goal is to make the victim believe that they cannot live without the narcissist's love, support, validation, or attention, or that the victim can somehow rescue the narcissist and thus validate to themselves that they are a good person, and in some cases, that it is their life or soul's purpose or karma to rescue the narcissist. The attention can be intense, and it is not uncommon for the victim to be flooded with calls and text messages in the beginning, or for the narcissist to seem to go out of their way to help the victim. The couple may marry and move in together in a very short time. This will often be overwhelming to the victim and may make them feel like they have finally found the love, validation, and security they have been looking for, and that they are the perfect match for the narcissist. Unfortunately, the love bombing stage is not genuine nor sustainable. Once the victim is emotionally invested in the relationship, the narcissist often starts to devalue and mistreat the victim, which is called the devaluation stage. Idealization stage. During the love bombing stage, the narcissist often idealizes a victim and creates a distorted mental image of a victim based on the narcissist's own desires and needs and for how the victim will validate, admire, and support the narcissist and the resources they will provide for the narcissist. The narcissist's idealization during love bombing is like a rose-tinted mirror. They see what they want to see, not what's actually there. Narcissists have difficulty understanding the concept of theory of mind, which means that they tend to view people as mere extensions of themselves rather than as a unique individual with their own thoughts, feelings, and desires. Because of this, narcissists often project their own desires and beliefs onto their partner and assume that their partner shares the same thoughts, feelings, and desires as them. Their limited theory of mind significantly affects the false image they create of their partner, and they often perceive their partner as a perfect match who can fulfill all their needs and desires. Interestingly, most narcissists are not aware that they are creating a false image of their partner, and they genuinely believe that they see the person for who they are, when in reality, they are projecting their own desires onto them. Devaluing. As the relationship between the narcissist and the victim progresses, the narcissist's perception of the victim starts to change. This happens because the victim is unable to live up to the idealized image that the narcissist has projected onto them, which the victim is often unaware of. This leads to disappointment, frustration, and resentment on the part of a narcissist who believes that the victim is intentionally failing to meet their needs and expectations, or that the narcissist is losing control over the victim. Expecting a narcissist to accept you for who you are is like expecting a cat to fetch. It's just not in their nature. The narcissist then starts to devalue the victim as a way to maintain control and power over them. By eroding the victim's self-esteem and confidence, the narcissist can make the victim more reliant on them for validation and approval. This dependency can make it easier for the narcissist to manipulate and control the victim. Devaluing can also be a coping mechanism for the narcissist's own feelings of insecurity and inferiority, as they try to project their own negative self-image onto their victim. By breaking the victim down, they build up their own ego and self-esteem, which is common amongst covert narcissists. Additionally, some narcissists might devalue their victim as a way to punish them for not meeting their unrealistic expectations or for perceived slights or failures. Ultimately, the devaluing stage is a means for the narcissist to maintain their position of power and control in the relationship. Devaluing typically begins slowly with backhanded compliments or jokes at the victim's expense that progresses to criticism, belittling, invalidation, withholding affection, withholding resources, name-calling, accusations, emotional and mental abuse, and in some cases, physical abuse. Gaining control over a victim often also starts slowly, with at the start being kind requests that over time changes into outright demands. Abuse and control is slowly increased due to two reasons. First, as time passes and the victim starts to see the narcissist's true colors, the narcissist feels they need to escalate their abuse and control in order to keep control of the victim and prevent the victim from leaving or exposing them. The second reason is that even without the victim seeing the narcissist's true colors, by gradually increasing the level of abuse and control, the narcissist can push the victim's boundaries and make them accustomed to the abuse, as well as make them feel more dependent on the narcissist for validation and approval. This makes it easier for the narcissist to maintain control over the victim and get more resources out of the victim with less effort, as well as lower the chance that the victim will resist the abuse. If a narcissist goes too far too fast, the victim may want to leave or expose the narcissist. At this point, the narcissist may drastically increase the abuse and threats to scare the victim or introduce a brief love-bombing stage to regain control. During this love-bombing stage, the narcissist may use flattery, gifts, and excessive attention to recreate dependency and attachment in the victim. They may promise to change, attend therapy or group sessions to give the victim hope, but it is just a tactic to get the victim not to leave him. The constant switch between devaluing and love-bombing can confuse the victim, as there's just enough good days to give the victim hope, but then the bad days confuses them as to who is to blame and why they are being abused. This can cause trauma bonding where the victim starts to need the narcissist's validation and admiration, even if it's just a kind word, while they may ignore or even defend and justify the abuse they are suffering. The inner cycle of devaluing, followed by a short love-bombing stage or reprieve from abuse, is repeated until either the narcissist or the victim ends the relationship, which can be decades later. Discard. The narcissist normally discards the victim due to no longer having interest in the victim. Often, they will move on to a new source of narcissistic supply. The narcissist may abruptly end the relationship, frequently without warning or explanation, or they may slowly become cold, distant, or hostile, and may start to ignore or reject the victim's attempts to reach out to them until they eventually leave the victim, which is in many cases when they found a replacement for the victim. For many narcissists, you are like a rental car. They return you once they're done using you. The goal of a discard stage for the narcissist is to maintain the narcissist's sense of power and control over the victim, while also maintaining their perfect image of not being abandoned or dumped. The narcissist may discard the victim because they are no longer providing the level of admiration, attention, and validation that the narcissist desires or think they deserve. Alternatively, the narcissist may discard the victim because they have found a new source of narcissistic supply that they believe will be more fulfilling or exciting. In some cases, the discard can be because the narcissist drastically changed their false image or false self. A narcissist's false self is built up from parts of others that they admire and that the narcissist thinks will give them the admiration and attention they deserve or who they believe they should or could be. In some cases, the narcissist may look at someone else living a different life and believe that that life will be more fulfilling. The narcissist may then overnight change their false self or image of themselves to reflect the other person. This new image may not include the narcissist's partner or family, and the narcissist may overnight walk out on their family to radically change their life in pursuit of new adventure, validation, and admiration. They may hop on the back of a motorbike of a stranger or in a car and ride off without an explanation to their family, as their partner or family no longer serve any purpose to them. Hoovering. Although not all narcissists will hoover, it is a common tactic used by narcissists to regain control over their victim or attempt to re-engage with the victim and restart the relationship and thus a new cycle of abuse. As it is done after the victim has left the narcissist or vice versa, hoovering is not part of a relationship cycle. Hoovering can take various forms, such as sending gifts, making phone calls, sending text messages, or showing up unexpectedly. The narcissist may use different tactics during hoovering, such as love bombing, gaslighting, projection, triangulation, shaming, guilt-tripping, blackmail, or playing the victim. The goal of hoovering is to reignite the victim's feelings of love and attachment and make them again feel as if they cannot live without the narcissist's validation and attention, or make them feel guilty and ashamed for not taking the narcissist back and giving them a second chance. New relationship cycle. With a new relationship cycle, the narcissist may hold on to the original idealized image they created of a victim, or they may form a new idealized version of a victim based on their own changing desires or needs. In this case, they may see the victim in a slightly different way and may expect different things from them. However, regardless of whether the narcissist forms a new idealized image or holds onto the old one, the underlying dynamics of a relationship are likely to remain the same. The narcissist will still seek validation and admiration from a victim and will still be using them to fulfill their own needs and desires, rather than seeing them as a separate and equal partner in the relationship. This will often lead to the same or worse patterns of abuse and dysfunction that was present in the earlier stages of a relationship. The narcissist normally believes that this time the victim learned their lesson and that the victim will work on themselves, as the narcissist believes that the problems in the relationship is not with their behaviors, but that the victim has an issue with them. Thus, the narcissist frequently has even more unrealistic expectations of a victim based on a new false idealized image they created of a victim, as they believe that if a victim takes the narcissist back, the victim is endorsing the narcissist's behaviors. This will lead to increased disappointment and frustration from the narcissist, which frequently results in increased devaluing and abusive behaviors of a narcissist. Additionally, the abuse may become more intense and frequent as the narcissist now feels more entitled and able to control and manipulate the victim, as they feel that no matter what they do to the victim will not take the narcissist to court or testify against them, and that the victim will take the narcissist back or return to the relationship. So they feel they have now carte blanche to do to the victim as they please. In many cases, when the couple gets back together, especially if the victim left and then took the narcissist back, the relationship quickly spirals downward, with abuse escalating very fast, as well as getting more severe, sometimes to the point that the victim is severely beaten, where they end up in hospital, become disabled or severely scarred, or in some cases, passes away. The narcissist may also outright kill the victim rather than risking the victim leaving them again and making them feel worthless for being abandoned. See the video suggested to you right now to discover why narcissists break your stuff.